What's up? Hey guys, it's Ivan. In this video, I want to show you how you can make a survey on your ClickFunnels and then redirect people to a particular page, so a different landing page tailored to whatever answer they gave you. So extremely powerful tool. If you have ClickFunnels, it's going to be really easy to do. I'll show you everything from A to Z in the next two videos. But whether you're a physical store, whether you're a Pizza Hut down the street, or whether you're an online entrepreneur, this is an incredibly powerful tool that allows you to give clients exactly what they're asking for. So first of all, it's going to increase your conversions because you are giving people exactly what they're looking for. There's no room for doubt or possibly not giving them what they want. Second of all, there is some trust. In this series of these survey questions, you will be asking people questions based on the previous questions. So people know that you're hearing them. So you're saying things like, hey, do you like apples? If people say, yes, I like apples, your next question would be something like, why do you like apples, right? So people know that, hey, this person or this site is listening to me. It takes into account what I'm saying and it bases the next questions based on what I said. So there's that trust element. So incredibly powerful. So here's roughly what it's going to look like. Obviously, it's not beautiful, but beauty aside, here is kind of the effectiveness of it. Okay, so here's one I created and I'll show you how to make one. But it says something like this. So how did you hear about us? Select the option that best applies. So Barack Obama, Steve Jobs, Tony Robbins, other. Okay, so this is a little trick Russell Brunson uses where he's got all these figures and all these different TV shows and popular networks that they're actually not on. But with this option other, right, people are going to look at this and say, oh, hey, wow, right, this is where this product was featured, it must be good. But in truth, it's not featured in any of these, right, where we know that everyone will pretty much put other. Okay, but the just a funny thing. But the next question is, what's the biggest problem in your business right now, for example, right? So again, tailor it based on your market, your niche, whatever you're doing, whether it's bicycles, whether it's donuts, whatever it is, okay? So let's say, what's the biggest problem in your business right now? Select the best answer. So you could say getting new customers, retaining old customers, keeping up with expenses, keeping up with the massive amounts of work. So notice, so pay attention to this question and pay attention to the answers. Now, when I click on a particular answer, so for example, retaining old customers, the question will say, why do you find it difficult to retain your customers, right? Let's try something else. So let me go with Barack Obama and let's say getting new customers. Why do you find it difficult to attract new customers? So look at that. The question changes, okay? So that's what I mean by it builds trust. And second of all, it allows me to actually figure out what that person wants, right? And be able to offer to them. And if you've read, if you've seen my previous review on the book Ask by Ryan Levesque, he talks about this, right? He talks about the effects of this and how powerful this survey can be. And he's got an entire methodology. So that's kind of what we're doing here in ClickFunnels, okay? So suppose we have that. So why do you find it difficult to attract new customers? We could say, well, there's a lot of negative buzz, right? Got a bad reputation. And then it's going to say something like, hey, if you were given an opportunity to learn how to kill all those nasty buzz bees, right? Or again, this is just the idea, phrase it, in your own way. This is what it would say, and then the people would say, hell yes, right? I'm interested. If you could tell me how to do this. So there's that micro commitment, first of all, right? They've micro committed 4 times. They stayed long enough to click on a button 4 times on your site. There is some psychological commitment associated with that. So now they say hell yes, and it says analyzing your results, and boom. So now this little click pop, if you don't know what a click pop is, make sure to check that video out and how to set one up and how to use it. Incredibly powerful tool in ClickFunnels as well. But now what you can do is, based on all the different answers that the people provided to you, you can actually get their email, get their name, put them into a separate email list, and then send them. So when people click let's get started, you can send them to a page specific to their answers. So in this case, suppose they said, I'm having trouble because of the rising costs and whatever. So here you could say, hey, enter your name and email and learn how to avoid those costs, okay? Or again, whatever it is, and you send them to that page, okay? So incredibly useful tool. Again, no matter what your business is, you don't have to actually be in online marketing to do this, but incredibly strong. So let me show you how to make this. I'll just close out of that. So we'll use this as kind of our prototype. Let's just make another one here. So I'll add new element. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to add a new element. Scroll a little bit down And over here, we'll say survey. Right under advanced form, it will say survey. So click on that. So let me, I'll probably just move that out of the way for now. I'll move that there. So let's look at some of the basic options. Okay, so it may get a little bit intimidating at first, but don't worry. So edit survey options. So let's go to settings first. It's the easiest thing to look at. So over here, you can just hide the progress bar. You can show it. So if you hide the progress bar, notice it's not there, right? I do like to have a progress bar because people know how much is left, right? It's the whole concept of pre-framing. If you've listened to Russell Brunson's book or my review of it, .com Secrets and Expert Secrets, he talks about pre-framing, incredibly powerful. The cool thing about everything we do on this channel also, something I want to mention, is everything relates to each other. So, you know, all the videos I make, everything is related to each other. As we learn together, we integrate our knowledge and we combine it, okay? So incredibly good. All the parts we talk about are not kind of one by one and separated. They're all together, all connected, okay? So that's pretty cool. So pre-frame, okay? Very important here. So show progress bar. So that's kind of this settings option. Questions is pretty easy. You can add a question. Right now, the only option is multiple choice. I guess that's why they're giving you kind of, they're saying add question and they're only giving you one option, right? So I think that's because they'll have another option here where you can actually just type in the answer. I think that's why that's there. So you can create that here. So let me just go back. So now I have another question. You can also add a question group, okay? And this just makes it easier. So in the, you know, in my example, what I showed you when I said, where did you hear about us? That's the question. The next question asks them something, and then based on their answer, they're thrown into a specific kind of bucket group, okay? So that's kind of really why you would want to make this question group. It just makes it easier for you to kind of say that, hey, this entire question group relates to one particular answer of the previous question, okay? At least for me. There's no benefits to a question group aside from just making it easier for you in the way that I just described it, as in, again, making all those questions relate to a particular question of the previous question, okay? A particular answer of the previous question. So there's that option. You have outcomes as well. So this outcome basically is what allowed us to go to that click pop, okay? That's what allowed us to be able to open that pop-up, which gave people the opportunity to put in their name and email. So if you go here, this is kind of the default. So if we have nothing here, then some website will redirect, or it will redirect us to some website depending on what you put in. So you can open a pop-up, which is not the click pop, okay? That's different. This isn't what we use. Pop-up is something here. So you can do that. You can open a pop-up. The only challenge here is when you open a pop-up, it will open one pop-up regardless of the answer that the people say. So I don't like to use pop-up here because we have tons of different options and variations for people to choose from, and we only have one pop-up. So that's not going to work. So I don't use pop-up. I use the click pops, okay? As I showed you. You can also just instantly redirect people to a page. So without saying, analyzing your results or do not leave the page. I like to keep that so people, again, pre-frame, they know what to expect. They know what's going on, okay? And obviously you can change this to whatever you want to. So maybe you could say, hold on for 1 minute, hold on for 1 second, etc., etc. And of course, put in the website. When you put in the website, you have to put in HTTP or HTTPS. It will not work otherwise. I have tried. If you just put in www or even without the W, like youtube.com, it just won't work. It'll say something like, hey, there's a ClickFunnels problem, error, etc., etc. So just put in HTTP or HTTPS, depending on if you have a secure connection or not. Okay, so these are some of the options available. The other option is, suppose they answered no, and you want the survey to be hidden, then you would just say hide survey, right? And then you would show them whatever other things you have on your page if you do. So these are really the only options available. Submit page just takes them to the next page, okay? So kind of similar to, I guess, instant page redirect if you have a different page there. Same thing, this just takes them to the next step in your funnel, okay? If that's what you want to do. Okay, so we have that. Triggers. This is something incredibly cool, which, you know, at the beginning of the video, I said I'll cover this whole thing in 2 videos. This is really cool. You can put a Facebook or Google pixel on here based on the answers that people select. So if people selected, hey, I'm having trouble with keeping up with the expenses, you can actually keep track of those people on Facebook. Super cool. I'll show you how to do that in the next video. Don't worry about it for now. Okay, so you should be pretty much acquainted with all the features here of this survey builder. So you can make your questions here. You make your outcomes here, and you have the settings here, okay? So settings, pretty much, there's only one option, so don't worry about that. So we will worry about questions and outcomes for the purpose of this video, okay? So let's make our survey, okay? So we're going to make a sample survey. I'm going to put really simple questions here. So let's begin. So let's change this one maybe. And if you want to delete questions, you can't delete the first one, but if you go here, on the top, it's going to say delete question. You can also add images. Well, I'll get into that in a second while we do this. So let me just hold on. So let's change this one. So what do we want to say? Well, let's say what fruit do you like best? Okay, and then let's say select the best option. So for the thumbnails, right, in the example I showed you, there wasn't an image, but you can have an image associated with your option, okay? So you can do that, and that'll just show up to the left of your option. I'll say text only for just to keep this simple, but that option is there for you. You can also keep it as a vertical list. You can keep it as a vertical 2 by 2. So questions are going to be like this, like this, like this, right? And they'll keep going down. You could have a block 2 by 2, a block 3 by 3. So for example, if I say block 6 by 6, my question will show up horizontally. So I'll have my answers will show up horizontally. So I'll have the question, but then I'll have 6 different answers listed, right? So I'll have A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. So let's try it here. Let's go with let's go with 6 by 6, so you kind of see the extent, right? Because we went from this to this. So if you know what this looks like, you will know what everything else looks like pretty much. You can also have so the radio button, that's the button that's like the check mark for you to select which option you want. So you could have square, you could have letter, you could have number, or you could just not have it at all. So let's say number for the purpose of this. So what fruit do you like best? So let's add some answers. Let's make it 4, right? Because it's typical to have 4 answers, as you would everywhere. Like in school, you always have 4 answers. People are used to that. So let's say apple. Let's say orange. Let's say banana, and let's say mango. All right. So leave that for now. Answer redirect now. So that's our first question, okay? One more thing, by the way. So here, as you can see already, right, it goes in the 6 by 6 fashion. So like I said, there's going to be 6 options here. We only have 4, so this probably isn't too good for us. So what we could do is we can make this 4 by 4 instead, okay? But that's what it's going to look like, 4 by 4. So now it's going to look like that. That looks fine, okay? So if we were to have an image, it would show up right up there. So it would say image 1 and then apple, okay? So that's basically what it would look like. One more thing I forgot to mention, we can also adjust things here. So we can make the question align to the left, right, to the center. Play around with this. Is really simple stuff. We can change the size of that. So we can make the question size a bit bigger. And we can make the question subtext size, well, we can change it as well, okay? So let's leave it at maybe 20. You have your answer size, which you can change as well. You have your progress size. Right, so that's that little line, that's the progress bar. You can have a tall, I think taller is okay. It's very clear for the people. You can also have it in a variety of different colors, green, orange, yellow, etc., etc. Progress style, you could have it round or square. So as you can see now, it's a bit square, and here it's round. Hover color, so when you hover over the answer, this is the color that it's going to show up as. Right now, red isn't working because it's in beta. I already told them about that. But all the other colors should work. So for example, orange. And this, okay, so this will change the type when you hover over it. So if it's grow and shadow, you'll see the difference. So let me just save and let me just show you really quickly. So when I hover over it, see there's a little shadow. I mean, even if you don't see it, it is there. There's a little shadow, and it looks a little bit more 3D-ish, okay? As opposed to the default way. All right. So that's really the difference in these options. So let's go back to default. Okay. So a little bit disorganized there. Sorry about that, but we've got all that out of the way. Okay. So let's go back and finish this now. So go into edit survey options. So we've created our first question. So now, for example, suppose we want to base our next question based on that. Okay, so here's where I would actually create a question group. So let me just go here and I'll just delete that one. I don't want that. So I'll create a question group, and let me just add some questions right away. So I'm just going to add questions first. That's how I like to do it. Okay, so now I have 4 questions based on the answers that the people provided, okay? So for this question, for example, we can say, which fruit do you like best? So the first fruit we said was apples, right? So we can say maybe, what color apples do you like best? What color, or, what apple color is your favorite? Could use some grammar lessons here. Select the best option that applies, right? You don't need to put this to put the subtitle. I just do it because it just makes it more clear, but you don't need to. And again, here you can change it. You can make it vertical, you can make it block, right? For consistency, let's make it block, so make it horizontal. The way I showed you, it was vertical. Okay, so that's basically like that common, you know, school method where it goes from top to bottom. Vertical, that's what the vertical list would be. So what color? Let's say maybe yellow. Let's say red, let's say green, let's say purple. Okay, so we can do that. So let's, right, the second option was orange. So let's go back and let's make maybe, what type of orange is your favorite? So there are different types of orange. By the way, if you yeah, okay, that's what I want to show you. So if you by accident put in an extra answer, you could just delete it right there. So let's say, what type of orange is your favorite? Well, there's like mandarins, which are a little bit similar to oranges. They're both orange, right? Again, we're just doing this for simplicity purposes. Okay, don't say, hey, mandarin is not an orange and something like that. This is just illustration. Okay, so let's say orange. Let's say, by the way, you don't need 4 answers. Also, you could have 2 answers. You could have 3 answers. You could have 4. I don't know about 1. Kind of restrictive, but you can have as many answers as you want to. Okay, so let's say mandarins. You could have blood oranges. You could have regular oranges, and maybe let's make you know, just for a little variety, let's have only 3 answers here. Okay, and yeah, vertical list is fine there. So there's that. So for the other fruit, we said banana, and maybe for this question we could say, why do you like bananas? Because I was born in the year of the monkey, and monkeys like bananas. All right, let's say something like that. Because it's yellow, and I love yellow. Because it's delicious. It has a lot of nutritional value. Okay, so let's say that. And last but not least, let's see, what was our last one? Mango. What product with mango do you like best? So let's say smoothie. Let's say just the fruit. Let's say juice, and let's say maybe ice cream. Okay, again, you don't need 4. We're just doing 4. Okay, so now that we have done this, we need to say that based on a particular answer, they'll be taken to that question, right? We don't want them answering apple, and then they'll be taken to what type of orange is your favorite, right? So what we need to do is over here, apple, answer redirect, will take them to, skip to, what apple color is your favorite? For oranges, it's going to say, what type of orange is your favorite? For banana, it's going to say, why do you like bananas? And for mango, we'll say, what product with mango do you like best? Okay, so now that should really do it. Okay, so now as you can see, it's going to have this little indication here saying that for question 1, they had to answer A1, right? Option 1 in order to come here. For question for version 2 of question 2, they had to answer on question 1 A2. Okay, that basically tells you just the path. Okay, what it took them to get there. So now what we can do is now we can go further and we can create more question groups. So this will take some work. Okay, so I don't know if we're gonna do this the full way through, but what you would do is you would add another question group, and what you would do is, based on all these answers, if you want, is you would go even further and say, now you don't have to, right? So after they answer this, what apple color is your favorite, you could simply make another you could just make another question that's unrelated to what they answer here. But if you want to go further, you could also make 4 different questions based on the different answers they have here. So for example, why yellow, or why red, or why green, right? Or why purple, and then you could have the corresponding answers. Just for the purpose of this video, let's make one more question without kind of that in depth. So let's just add another question group, and let's say, if they answered apples, let's say something else. So again, I'm going to just add the questions real quick again. And let's just ask, so let's say for the people that said they like apples, the other question is, let's say, what type of Apple product do you like best? We could say the computers. We could say smoothies. Actually, I don't like apples. I was kidding. All right, something goofy like that. And let's say just the fruit. All right, so you get the idea. That's what you would just do, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. For oranges, let's say, where do you normally eat oranges? Restaurants, home with friends. Okay, I'm gonna keep it at 3 for now as well, just for simplicity. This is for banana lovers. So what will you do without bananas? Nothing. Watch more movies. Eat another fruit. Okay, let's keep it to 3 for now as well. And this one is mango. Have you ever wondered why every restaurant has mango smoothies? Yeah, one thing I found is that like every single restaurant has only mango smoothies. You go there and there's so many, like, in my opinion, better fruits available, right? Like I like apple smoothies, I like peach smoothies, but no, everything and everyone seems to love mango the most. They have mango pudding, they have mango ice cream. Like, why not peach ice cream? Why not peach pudding? It's crazy. Actually, really frustrates me sometimes because peach is just so much better than mango. All right, so let's say, have you ever wondered why? Nope. Yep. What are you talking about? Okay, so there you go. So now we're going to go back to these questions, and we need to say that, hey, depending on the answer, we need to redirect them to a particular question, right? So what apple color is your favorite? So based on this, we should take them to only this question. So what apple product do you like best? Okay, so we need to say that, because regardless of what they say, they should still go in this field of apples, okay? So that's that. Let's go with, do you normally eat oranges? Let me just get myself out of the way. Okay, sorry. So go back to what orange is your favorite. Orange, orange, orange. Okay, so we're kind of relating all of them together. I do like bananas, so what would you do without bananas? Bananas, bananas, bananas. And last but not least, mango. So we need to relate it to mango. Okay, so that should pretty much do it. So let's see where we're at. Yep, so that one has 3. So let's see where we're at, first of all. And then we're actually going to redirect, and I'll show you how to make, how to link it to the website, although it's very simple, okay? So let's take a look. So suppose we say apple, and suppose we say green. So what type of apple product do you like best? Smoothies. Analyzing your results. Perfect. We don't have anything set up yet, so don't worry about that. So let's refresh. Nope, can't. Okay, so let's try something else. Let's try mango. What product with mango do you like best? Ice cream. Have you ever wondered why every restaurant has only mango? Nope. And then it's not going to take us to a page. Okay, perfect. So you can see there it's working perfectly. Okay, your survey is working. It's well integrated. It's linking questions together to one another so that they actually make sense. Okay, so now one last thing. Let's actually make the websites. So what I would do is I would probably create a ClickPop. So I would create a different ClickPop based on the answers. So again, pop-up probably wouldn't work here because you have all these different answers. If you want to know how to create a click pop, check out my previous video. I'll put the card up above so you can click on that and check out how to make one. But it's basically like creating a landing page. You basically create another landing page and then you just take that URL, and what you would do is you would put it under outcomes. Okay, so now we need to add an outcome. So again, I'm just going to add several outcomes, 4, right? Because we have 4 different options. We want to take people who like bananas to the banana page, people who like apples to the apples page, people who like mangoes to the mango page. Okay, we want to be able to do that. So for the outcomes, for example, so we need to set a condition. So for example, people that answered people that answered what fruit do you like best, for example, people that answered apple, we're going to take them to a particular page. Now we should actually not do that. Don't do that. We should go to the very last part, right? Because what this will do then is this will redirect them right after they answer apple. So we don't want to do that. So let's go to, for instance, the last question. So what type of apple do you like best? So regardless of what they say, we need to redirect them to our different page. Okay, so what I would do is, for example, I would probably just loading page, and then what I would do is, again, don't forget you need the HTTP or HTTPS before that. I would say click pop apple. Okay, .com. Okay, so let's say that. So you're going to create a separate click pop, again, as I showed you in the previous video, and you're just going to take that URL and you're just going to put it here. That is it. You're just going to place that URL here. That's it. Okay, and then we'll leave that as is, analyzing your results. Don't leave the page. Now we need to add some other conditions, because we also want to say that no matter what answer people reply for that, no matter what answer people take for that last question, we want to be able to redirect them to this apple page because we know they like apples. Okay, so let's just add a few more conditions. So 4, because we have 4 answers, and let's say apple, apple, apple. And when they say smoothies, when they say actually I don't like apples, and just the fruit, this should all redirect them to that page. Okay, so let's just save it real quick and let me just show you what that's going to look like. So preview. So let's say we picked apples, and now regardless of what we pick, okay, let's see. So that didn't properly redirect us, and that is did something wrong. Let's see what we did wrong. So that's probably something to do with the default. Nope. Best. Okay, so I'm back. So issue was that, my apologies, we shouldn't actually put everything in here because it says must match all. Okay, so when we put all of them, there was a little issue with the computer, right? Because it can't possibly match all of them because people can only select 1 out of those 4 options at the same time. So it's impossible that they select all 4 at the same time. All right. So what we need to do is we actually do need to change it. So let me just copy this URL, but we need to make it as a new outcome entirely. So without having to match all. So now we need to go here and make it here. So now we can say smoothies, put that here. Let's go back, do it here. So yes, it does take work, but it will pay off, okay? Because your conversions should be much higher because people are getting what they want. So again, let's go here to apples, put that URL there, and then here in new condition, again, regardless of what they say for apples, right? We know they like apples. We're going to redirect them to this apple page that they want, but maybe on the click pop we'll maybe change up our click pop a little bit to say what their answer is. So for example, for this one, what type of apple do you like best? Hey, put your name down below if you like the apple just as a fruit, right? Whatever it is. So that's something you can actually change on the click pop, but for simplicity, we're just going to use the exact same one across all of them. So now what we can do is, now let's save this, and now let's take a look what's going to look like. Now the page should not load, okay? So let's click Apple. Doesn't matter what we click here, but let's click on computers because that's what we've set it up for. And there you go. It says wrong, right? But that's the website. There you go, clickpop.apple.com. Okay, so obviously that website doesn't exist, but ClickPop Apple, okay? So that's kind of the idea. So what you would do is you would now do the exact same thing for oranges, for mangoes, and for bananas, and you would take them to a different page, a different ClickPop based on their result, based on their answer. Okay, so that's basically how you would do it. Like, this is pretty much all you need to know about how to create the survey. The one cool thing regarding the pixels, where you can actually track on Facebook how many people clicked a particular response and then target them again. I'll show you how to do that in the next video. I will log on to the Facebook and we'll go over that as well. All right. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We cover a lot of different online marketing tools such as reviews, how-tos, technical tools, and stuff like this. So yeah, and if you guys have any questions, again, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.